Hi, welcome to another practice of chair yoga. So thank you for joining me this morning or whenever it is that you are joining me. We'll start by sitting in the very back of our chair and getting a little scrub on our back. Love that. And then just finding a little stillness. Let the hands just rest, palms down, and maybe close these eyes or just soften your gaze and look down. The eyelids might get heavy. And we'll take a slow breath in, an easy sigh out. And I invite you just to kind of bring a little bit of awareness to the bottoms of your feet. Can you feel all your little toes there? And the ball of the feet. And the outside edges back to your heels. Imagining those little feet print. And then bringing the awareness to your hands. All those fingers. The palm of the hand. And notice if you're holding your breath while you're trying to focus. And if you are, that's okay. But now let's just take a big breath in. Slow sigh out. And back at those feet, maybe wiggle the toes a little. Yeah, helping your mind to connect to these feet. And then take your mind from your feet up to these legs. And maybe the legs, when you get to your thighs, maybe you can notice the weight of the hands on the thighs. We're just taking a few moments just to connect to the body. Taking a few long breaths in and easy sighs out. And then that awareness, bring it to your behind, sitting in this chair. And then coming up your torso, all the way up into the shoulders. And then from the shoulders, then start to move down your arms back to your hands. And then a little shift in awareness of having that awareness of your hands resting on your thighs. So before it was your thighs feeling your hands. So it's just a little different. Or maybe it's the same for you. Either way is okay. It's just feeling the body. And then feeling your face, feeling their eyebrows and your cheeks and your jaw. Maybe the tongue drops from the roof of the mouth. And you can sort of feel that. In the throat and the neck. It's kind of exploring the head, the back of the head, the sides where your ears are, and even up to the crown of the head, the very tip top. And again, take a slow breath in and an easy sigh out. And now drop the hands down by your sides and give them a flick. Yeah, starting to feel your skin kind of moving around on your arms. And then bring the hands together and rub them. Rub them together. You might feel that little friction and maybe a little bit of heat as we build here. And then cover your eyes. Cover your hands right over the eyes. And then maybe you feel that little bit of heat coming from your hands and flicker the eyes open. And then parting the fingers, bringing a little bit of light in and just gently dropping your hands on down. Good. And then scoot your tushes forward, please. And then reach your arms out by your sides. We'll inhale and take the hands all the way up. And then come onto your heart. Exhale. Taking the hands forward and open wide. Breathe in like you're expanding and spreading your wings. And then exhale, close up. Exhale, hands are coming together. The hands are going up. Breathe in. And swim away. Good. And then bring these shoulders up, back, and down. Up, back, and down. And up, back, and down. Great. Again, arms out to the sides. Inhale, coming all the way out and all the way up to the heart. Exhale. Let's see how this feels the second time around. Take the hands forward, inhale and open those arms wide. Close up, exhale. Give a little resistance like you're pressing against something. Go straight up, breathe in. Swim away. Good, and again, shoulders up, back and down, up, back and down, and up, back and down. Nice, good. So here, we're sitting a little more upright. We're not using the back of our chair. And we're gonna start to, again, activate some muscles. And again, this class is, what I'd like is just to have more awareness of what's going on inside of the body. Those times when we engage muscles to the bones, and those times where we can just kind of be soft, or maybe we ease into a posture. So sitting up tall. Again, notice if you're leaning a little more forward. See if you can find that sweet spot where the ears and the shoulders and the hips are in line. And then those feet, the ankles and knees are in line. The knees can be in line with your hippies, or if you'd like to make them a little wider, if it feels more stable for you, great. So whatever it is for your body, lengthen up. So we pause here. You feel the hands resting on your thighs, the feet resting on the ground, and your spine being tall. So keep this going, take a breath, and as you exhale, just give a little push into the feet. Good, what do you feel? As you push into the feet, take a breath. Maybe you might feel your shins engage and the calves. Maybe all of a sudden your hands are feeling your quads, the tops of your thighs engage. Maybe you feel a little firmness happening in that belly. Soften your shoulders. Soften your jaw. Good. You're still pushing down into the feet. Can you lighten up your toes? So it's going to be more the heel and the ball of the foot that are pressing down. Good. Nice. All right. So it's not 150 million%. It's just enough to where you feel some activation. Okay. So here, awareness to your heels. And think about your heels pushing down, and now push your heels out to the sides. So the knees want to come in, but don't let them come in. Just let them be forward. But as we push the heels out to the sides, you might start to feel some more activation in the hip and in that inner thigh area. Maybe. Take a breath. Heels kind of going out. And then be soft. Good. Wiggle your legs. Nice job, guys. So again, it's just having that awareness of when muscles get to activate. Great. So here, now take these arms out to the sides, and let's have the palms to face up. Good. So notice what you feel with these arms out to the sides, and they can be out by the shoulders or they can be down. It just depends upon your shoulder joint today. And then now, imagine somebody pulling you on either side, like you've got little ropes attached. Take a breath. And as you exhale, think about these arms pulling out like somebody's pulling you apart. What happens then? What happens if you opened your fingers wider? Breathe in and breathe out. So we're adding a little bit of stress or strength, engagement to the body. And when we do that, can we still breathe at the same time? Big breath in. Pulling these arms apart, breath out, let the shoulders be heavy. So your ears and shoulders want to meet, but don't let them. Just let the neck be long. Great, one more breath here. And then be soft. Give it a wiggle. Nice, good. All right, so from here, let the feet come out wide. Hands on these knees. Let's get a little bit of movement going. So inhale and lift up the chest and look up. And then exhale, starting at your belly button, pull your belly button into your spine as you tuck the tail and look down. So little cows and cats. Breathing in, lifting up. And exhale, pulling back. I'm going to shift out so you can see what I'm doing from the side. Inhale, we lift up, little extension in that spine. And as you exhale, that little tuck back and making a C shape. One more. And exhale. Good. And then come to a tall spine. Let the feet come in just a little bit. All right, so here's some fun. We're going to pretend we're going to get up out of this chair, but we're not going to get out of the chair, okay? We're going to use some muscles and just feel that engagement. So the hands are at the heart. we're going to push the hands together. So feel that. The feet are out just a little wider than your hips and the heels are back just a widge from your knees. Take a breath. And as you exhale, lean forward like you're going to get up, but don't push into your feet. And then release. Come in. Breathe in. Exhale, leaning forward. We're going to push into the feet. We're not getting up, but we're going to feel that. And then release. Good. Big breath. Exhale, leaning forward, pushing down to feel what that's about. Pause. So we're leaning a little bit more forward. We're pushing down into the feet. And you can imagine when we do stand up, we're going to push into the feet to help us lift up. So take another breath. And then release, come back out. Now this time we're going to get up. Now, if you need to use your chair to help you stand up, use your chair, okay? Otherwise, hands are at the heart. We're pushing into the hands. Take a breath. And then exhale, lean forward, push into those feet and rise. Good. And then come around to the back side of your chair, please. Awesome. Once you come to the back side of your chair, let your feet be as wide as the legs of the chair and get a little easy tick-tock. Just getting soft. Moving into these hips. Maybe the head wants to move. Maybe the arms want to move a little. Yeah, just being soft. And if you want, you can get a little circle around. Go in both directions. Good. Nice. And then come on back to center. So here, I'm going to move my chair to the side because we're going to start to move back and forth. So be tall first. Ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, ears are all in line. We're reaching the arms out and up. Breathe in. Good. Swim away. Exhale. Hands are coming to that chair. And then we're going to sit our tushy back like we're sitting in a chair. So sometimes we want to go down like this. See if you can take that tushy back. Like there's a pretend bar stool or a chair. You decide how much you want to bend those knees. Maybe we can wiggle some toes. Hands are on the chair to give us some stability. Or you can bring the hands to the heart. Yogi's choice. Can you bring the belly button in towards your spine as you're sitting that tushy back? Take a breath. And exhale, sit down a little deeper. Push into your feet. Rise up. Inhale, going up. Exhale, swimming away. Just like we did at the beginning. Reach out and up. Breathe in. Come onto your heart. And now take the hands forward and open wide. Breathe in. Open and spread your wings. And exhale, come back to center. Take the hands straight up. Breathe in. And swim away. Good. Now the hands are coming to this chair. We're stepping back. One foot the other. Bend your knees. Pull your hips back. And then bend in those knees. Letting the chest drop down a little or a lot. You decide. And then from here, we're going to inhale. Lift up and look up. And we're taking our right foot to the right leg of the chair. So step your right foot to the right leg of your chair. Take your left toes out to the side. So it's that little diagonal line. Then bend your right knee and slowly lift the chest up. So we're going to feel maybe a little something in this hip flexor. Can you bring awareness to the back of your foot, that outside edge, the pinky toe side? Give a little press down. So we build a lot of strength in that leg. Maybe we can soften our toes. So it's the ball and the heel and the outside edges of your feet that are building this posture. From here, we might take the right hand up, fingers on the left hand, or take both hands up. You decide. If this does not feel good in your back, you want to lean a little forward, feel free. Listen to your body. Take a big breath in, and then as you exhale, bring the hands to the heart. So it's either one hand or both hands. Good. Take a breath and being easy. Good. And then inhale, take those hands forward and open wide. Breathe in. Nice. Exhale, close it up. Let's do it 2 more times. Open wide. Inhale. Feeling your scapula squeezing behind you. Exhale, close up. And one more. Open wide. And exhale, come into center. Take the hands straight up. Breathe in. Swim away. Good. Hands are to the chair. Pivot your back toes forward. Take a breath. We're going to step into this right leg. So step into it and drag those left toes behind you. Toes are on the ground. We're lifting up. Now, see if you can kind of lean a little forward so we're not breaking at the hip. We're going to try and keep a diagonal line from the crown of the head to that back toe. And then here, reach your right arm up-ish. Maybe it's a finger on this back hand, on this left hand. Good. And then switch. Switching out. Take a breath. And then exhale, switch. Take another breath. And then exhale, switch. Nice, good. Now right here, the left hand's up. You can imagine from the left fingers all the way to the arm, down your torso to those left toes. Now maybe the right finger is on the chair, or maybe you're holding on, or maybe you start to just barely hover that hand off of the ground, off of the chair. Good. Last breath here. Nice. And then bring the hand down and bring your left foot to meet your right. And give it a wiggle. Good. Reach your arms out and up. Big breath. Exhale, bend your knees, hands to the heart or to the chair. Now this time we're going to reach the hands back. Palms are facing forward. Thumbs are out to the sides. Good. Take a breath and sit a little deeper. Push into your feet. Rise up. Inhale. Maybe we look up. Exhale, swim those arms down by your side. Step back. One foot the other. Bend your knees. Pull those hips back. Bend your elbows. You bow as much or as little as you want. Good. Imagine somebody behind you gently pulling your hips back, no matter where you are. Even if you're up here, think about that pulling back. Yeah, so you can wiggle some toes. Imagine a little bit of length happening in the spine. One more breath here. Great. So we'll catch our second side. We're going to inhale, lift up and look up. And then left foot to the left leg of that chair, step it up. And then take the right toes off to the side. Bend your left knee. Slowly lift your chest up. So we pause here to feel this body. Feel your legs grounding down, less your toes. So it's the back foot, outside edge, heel and ball. Front foot, that same thing. Heel, ball, outside edge. Gently pushing down. Good. Take a breath in and a breath out. Maybe that left hand goes up. Maybe the right hand meets it. We pause a moment. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. So feeling this. And then just gently open across this heart. See what that's about. Long breath in and long breath out. Nice, good. And then from here, reaching the hands all the way up. Exhale, bringing the hands down to that chair. We're going to pivot the back toes forward. Take a breath. And again, stepping into that left leg. All the way in. Right toes are back behind us. And then think about a long line. From the crown of the head to that back heel. Yeah, good. And then here, we're going to reach that right hand up. Nice. And then maybe it's just a finger on this other side. Toe on the ground. Most of the weight is into this left leg. Take a breath. And then exhale, switch. Good, stay here. Reach that arm and leg away from each other. And then as you exhale, switch. Good, pause for the inhale. And then exhale, switch, and we stay right here for a moment. So nice like diagonal line. And again, we might have a finger or two on that chair, or maybe we hover it. Take a breath. Good. And then bring the hand and the leg together. Bring everything comes down and give it all a good wiggle. Nice. Awesome. So from here, I'm going to turn my chair back towards you. Open your feet nice and wide. And get a little wiggle side to side. Great. And then find your way back into center. Take the toes inward and the heels outwards, kind of like we're pigeon-toed here. Then we're going to lift up these right toes and pivot on the heel and put your foot down. So we have a heel to heel or heel to arch alignment in the back. Your body is facing towards the back of this chair. And we're going to take this right hand out in front of us and bend your right knee. Good. Now, here, let's take the hand all the way up and reach it back. See what we feel here. So this left hand can stay right here on this chair, or maybe it's on your thigh. Or if you're feeling like you need a little extra something today, maybe you reach it towards the left side of your room. Take a breath and exhale out. Good. Noticing if your toes are gripping, let them be soft. Take a breath in and a breath out. Good. And then open these arms out. Shoulders right over the hips. Reaching the arms out to the sides and maybe take the gaze now towards your right hand. Breathe in and breathe out. So feeling this body, feeling those fingers open wide. And what does that do to these arms? What does it do to your upper back? What if you push down into the feet and then gently draw the legs towards each other? What is that about? Good. What if you release that? And what if you push your feet away from each other? Not that they're going to move. You're just pushing down and pushing away. Nice job. Release. Bring the hands down. Straighten the knee. Lift these toes. Come back to center. And we'll switch. We'll do the other side. Lift in the left toes. Pivot on the heel. Put your foot down. Reach that left arm out. And again, chest is towards the back of that chair. And we're going to bend the knee. Nice. Good. We're going to do our little reverse warrior or peaceful warrior. Reaching this left arm all the way up and back. Okay, so sides are different. See what happens. Keep the hand on the chair. We're down our legs. We're reaching it out. Being soft in our toes, but feeling the anchor of our feet, of the heel, the ball, the outside edge. Take a big breath. Good. Nice. One more here. And then we're going to open up these arms. So opening up your arms, pulling your arms apart, feeling that open spaciousness across your collarbones, and maybe taking the gaze now into that left hand. Pulling the arms apart, feeling the toes be soft, but pushing down into the ball and the heel and the outside edges of the feet. So first, take a breath and just easy, not super hard, but gently draw the heels towards each other. Not that they're going to move. We're just seeing what does that do? What does that change? And then release that, and then maybe push those feet away from each other. Noticing how just those little subtle movements or subtle really thoughts about these different parts of the body is how it changes other parts. Release that. Take a breath. And then as you exhale, take the hands back to the chair, straighten the knee, lift the toes, come on back to center. Nice. Bend both knees and step on in. Oh yeah, give it all a good wiggle. Wiggling these legs. Nice. Good. From here, we're going to come back. I'm going to scooch me again. Reaching the arms out and up. Inhale. Exhale, bending the knees and bringing the hands to the heart. Now right here, take those hands forward and open wide. Breathe in. Yeah, so in a chair pose, exhale, close the hands up. 2 more of those. Breathing in. Exhale, coming together. And last one. Exhale. Take the hands straight up. Breathe on in. Reaching up, straighten those knees. Swim away. The hands are coming back to that chair. And we're stepping back. One foot in the other. Bending your knees. Pulling your hips back. Bending those elbows. Bowing. See what we feel here. Breathe in and breathe out. So from here, we're going to inhale, lift up and look up, and we're going to take the right foot to the middle of your chair, right at center. Dook. Lift up your left toes and take them off to the side. Now bend your right knee, bring your right hand to the middle of the chair, reach your left arm forward, and then open up. Yeah, so now your body's gonna be facing the left side of your mat, and then we're gonna inhale and take that hand up, the left hand up, bend your left elbow and lean. Yeah, big breath in and a breath out. So body, if it wants to drop down, come up a little bit, come up a little bit. Or you can take this hand in the sky, bring it down, bend your elbow and place your hand kind of at your tush. We're getting openness. So when we come into this side angle, it's across the chest. It's about getting some length in the side body. So you decide, what do you need? Breathe in and breathe out. The hand can rest at that chair or maybe on the thigh. Or maybe you take the back of the hand and press it against the knee, and the knee is going to press against the hand. So we're going to get a little more engagement there should you need it. Take another breath and exhale out. Nice, good. Now bring the hand back to the chair. Drop this other hand to the chair. Pivot your body towards the back of the chair. Back toes are facing forward. Take a breath and exhale out. Nice. Now here, push into the back of the chair. We're going to lift up that right knee and step back, or however you want to get there, and then pull your hips back again, bowing down. Long breath in and long breath out. And then we'll catch that second side. So I'm going to switch out my chair. We'll inhale, lift up and look up. And then exhale and bow down. Good. All right. So we're going to inhale and lift up and look up. And take the left foot to the center of your chair, right at center. And then pivot the back heel down to center. Bend your left knee. Left hand's in the middle of the chair. Right hand's going to reach forward. And then we're going to open up. Ta-da! That's it. So making sure that that left knee and ankle are in line. The right toes are off to the side. And then we're going to inhale and reach that right arm up. Bend your left elbow, coming into that nice side angle. So it can be hand right up towards the ceiling. You want to lean it over, that's great. Being mindful about dumping. And if we are, we'll lift up, or maybe bring the hand to the back of down the arm or down to the back of your tush. So you decide where you want to be here. Breathing in and breathing out. And again, we can have the hand on the back of that chair, on the thigh, maybe the forearm, or maybe just open up. You want that left hand presses against the left knee, the knee presses against the hand. Big breath in and out. Good, one more. Nice, good. And here, dropping the hands, pivoting the body to the back of that chair, pivot the back toes forward, and this time we take a breath and just step up. Boom, and stand tall. Ah, nice, good work. Again, let the feet be a little wider. Give it all a good wiggle. Take a breath. Nice. Circle your little hips out. And then come around the other way. Nice, good. And then from here, let's bring the feet, the ankles, the knees, the hips, the shoulders, the ears are all in line. If you need to have the hands on the chair for a little balance, feel free to do that. Otherwise, you can bring the hands down by your sides. Okay, yogi's choice. So we're going to play again with just awareness of this body. Awareness of where we can kind of press in a little bit. So notice awareness, bring that awareness down to your feet. Wiggle your toes. Sometimes we have to look at their toes in order to make that mind-body connection. And if you've done that, great. Then lift up and look forward again. All right. So now lift up your toes. Maybe you can imagine open your fingers real wide, because that makes your toes open real wide. Then just put your toes back down. Yeah. And then push down into the feet, less the toes. The toes are kind of soft. Now here, think about pushing out a little bit with your heels. Not 150 million%. Just go to like 20 and notice what you feel. Okay, release that. Good. Now, again, standing tall, push just down into your big toes, just into the big toes. What do you feel within the body? What starts to activate? Take a breath in and take a breath out. Nice. Good. Release that. Nice. And if you need a little bounce, kind of release some of that, little wiggle in the legs. And then come back to stillness again. Now, what happens here as we push down into the feet? What happens if we pull the heels towards each other? What happens then? It might feel like the ball you're pushing out to the sides. Yeah, soften your jaw, take a breath, and then release that. Good, and it's just these little subtle movements that start to activate these other parts of our body. Now here, let's externally rotate the arms. So into the shoulders, the thumbs are going back, and just feel that for a moment. You might feel a little bit of openness across your collarbones, maybe. Maybe you feel your little scapula, your wings gently drawing towards the spine. Take a breath here and imagine somebody drawing your arms downwards, like your arms just got really heavy, being pulled down. What happens here? Take a breath. Now, what would happen if we start to activate the fingers and open them wide as the arms are drawing down? What happens now? Breathe in, breathe out. Good, one more. And then be soft. Nice, and give that a good wiggle. Nice. The last little bit we're going to do is we're going to play with just our low pelvic floor. So, again, we're standing tall. Think about your pubic bone trying to draw towards your belly button. Okay? Think about your hip points. So if you want, feel your hip points. They're in there, I promise. Now, imagine your hip points trying to draw to center, like you're trying to close up a corset. And then the pubic bone and belly button drawing towards center. Yeah, so we've got this up-down action, and we've got this side-to-side or coming towards center action. Take a breath. Good. Now release that. Good. Give a wiggle. We're going to try it one more time. So again, don't feel like you have to do a whole bunch. Just do enough to where you start to feel that firmness happening. Okay, take a breath. And then as you exhale, think about pubic bone to belly button. And think about hip points coming towards center. Did anything happen in the legs? Is anything happening in your back? Take a breath and then be soft. From here, hands are to the back of the chair. We're going to step back one more time, one foot then the other. Bend your knees and slowly bow down. Great. And then right here, we're just going to start to bend one knee. So maybe bend your right knee, straighten your left. And then switch, bend your left and straighten your right. Yeah, switch out. Good. And then find your way back to center. We'll inhale, lift up and look up. And then exhale, walk these feet forward and stand nice and tall. Perfect. Now come on and have a seat. So we're coming on back to our seat. Make sure your chair is there and have a seat. Nice job, guys. Scoot your tushies forward, please. And bring the hands right here onto your knees. Maybe open a little wider. And we're just going to circle. So circle around this torso. Forward, to the sides, towards the back of that chair. Big circles or little circles, you decide. What feels good? And as we circle, we can notice how our weight shifts. The tush, the leg, switching to the other leg, maybe the foot, the hips, the back, all of it. Maybe if your hands are on the knees or on the thighs, you can feel that. Elbows bending, the weight shifting from hand to hand. Long breath in and long breath out. Nice work, guys. And then go the opposite direction. Let's see what that way is about. Maybe it feels the same. Maybe it feels different. If you want to close your eyes or just soften the gaze to have the awareness inward. Good. And then come on back to center. We'll inhale and lift this chest up. And then as you exhale, bend your elbows and bow forward. Straighten the elbows. We come up. Inhale. And as you exhale, it's that little tuck of the tail and looking down. And then come up to a tall spine. So I'm going to show you from the side. So we're sitting tall. We'll inhale and lift. Exhale, bending the elbows, belly button to spine as we bow forward. Flat-ish back as best we can. Good. The inhale straightens the elbows. We come up. And as you exhale, tuck your tail, look down. C shape. Coming forward again. Breathing in, lifting this chest. The elbows, it's like we're leading with our heart as we bow. Straightening the elbows, we come up. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, that little tuck of the tail and looking down. Now, this time is going to be different. We're going to inhale, lift up, and exhale, bow forward. And we're going to pause here. So for some of us, being right here is perfect. For others of us, we might bring the elbows onto the knees and one hand rests inside of the other. And this feels pretty good. We might drop the head if that feels okay. And we're just trying to let this back body soften. For some of us, this isn't as sensational as we would like it to be. So maybe we bring the hands onto the knees and let the hands just sort of slide down your shins towards the ground as we drop the chest down and drop the head. Now, if you get here and you can't breathe, or you have uncontrolled hypertension, or you have any kind of eye issue like glaucoma or any additional pressure, come back up to where the elbows are on the knees. So that way, then there's not a whole lot of pressure in the head and you can breathe. So you decide where you want to be, knowing that you can always change at any time. Letting the elbows support the torso or those hands on the shins or legs or the ground. But letting your body be supported in some way so that way we can release muscles. Maybe you start to soften your face a little bit. Take a slow breath in and an easy breath out. Awesome, good. And then from here, let's go ahead and start to bring the hands right up to those knees. The elbows are bent, the head is hanging heavy. We'll take a breath here, and as you exhale, just gently straighten these elbows. Let the chin come to the chest. And then feeling the shoulders right over the hips. Then one hand to your forehead and the other hand to the back of the head. Let the head be heavy so you can feel the weight of the head in the hands. And then inhale, lift this head up and put it right on top of your spine. Yeah, and then release those hands on down. Good. Nice. So bring the legs back in. Scoot your tush all the way to the back of that chair and get a little scrub. And then if you'd like, pausing there, taking the arms out by your sides and drop the elbows. So for some of us, this is enough. For others of us, we might want to lift the chest up and let the arms get heavy and maybe look up. Oh, getting that big old stretch across your chest. So you decide how much you need. Take a big breath in. And then as you exhale, bringing the shoulders right back over the hips. Bending the elbows, placing the backs of the hands on the thighs, and maybe taking those legs out and give them a wiggle. Yeah, so you get to find the seat, this resting posture that feels good to you. So legs out to the sides. You can even bring the bottoms of the feet together and let the knees go out. I'll shift so you can kind of see that. Because sometimes that feels good. Letting the knees just go out. And the palms can be palms down or palms up, whatever feels good. And then we're just going to close these eyes for a moment or two. If you don't like to close your eyes, you don't have to. You can look just down to the ground, but let your eyelids kind of be soft. You can take some slow blinks. And again, we can have that awareness of this body being supported now. Feet on the ground, your tush in the chair, your arms being supported by the legs, your back being supported by the back of this chair. And we'll take a slow breath in. And this nice releasing sigh out that kind of softens your muscles. Feeling your face soften and your shoulders and your chest and your belly. The back, through the arms, through the legs. We might just notice how this body effortlessly breathes itself. We don't have to think about it anymore. It just happens. And just take a few moments and we'll rest. Now, if you'd like to stay here a little longer, feel free to do that. But if you're ready, let's go ahead and just step these feet underneath the knees. Feel that. And with the eyes still soft or closed, bring the hands on your sides on this chair and lift your spine away from the back of the chair. And dropping the hands down by your sides, can you feel where the ears and the shoulders and the hips would be in line? So you can feel your body sitting upright. And maybe right here, you bring a teeny tiny baby smile to your face. Take a breath. And exhale out. Flickering those eyes open. Reaching the arms out and up. We'll inhale to gather this beautiful energy from each other and from above. Press it between your hands. And as you exhale, bring all that goodness right down into your heart. And bowing the head to the hands in honor of our practice, in honor of each other and the time we all get to spend together. Thanks so much for allowing me to be a part of your practice. Namaste.